you're a roofer and you've been in the game for a while, you've done the leads, the marketing, Facebook, Google, call centers, SMS, you've tried all these different lead sources. There's one problem that's going to keep coming up no matter the source that you're using, and that's lead quality. Whether it's unpredictable lead quality where you might get a good lead here and then 5 bad leads there, or it's just flat out bad leads. Sometimes you're just consistently getting garbage, people who just don't check your boxes. They're not your ideal customer. It's almost always the same story, and it's always going to be lead quality. The leads are just crap. I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably not your lead source that's the problem. It's almost always your qualification process, or just the fact that you don't even have one. Now, here's what I see all the time when I talk to roofers. Their qualification process usually looks like a lead comes in, their office is going to call them, or sometimes it's the owner themselves who are going to call the leads. They're going to get a name, a phone, an address, and they're going to book the appointment. Sometimes it's the lead company that actually does this for them, and it's not even a phone call. They're just doing this via SMS. Now, throughout that whole process, there's literally no pre-qualification. There's no actually making sure that the homeowner has the money, that they're pre-sold on your company. There's no value that's built. There's no making sure they have intent, timeline, homeowner status. There's really no vetting whatsoever or no qualification process whatsoever. And then you're sending your sales rep out to drive, 45 minutes across town to go to that appointment. And that's where you're getting a lot of these objections, like people who are just getting quotes, people who are, they need to think about it. They're just seeing what's out there. And that's why a lot of roofers that I talk to, they have like 15% close rates if they're lucky on the leads that they're getting. Now, the roofers that are closing at 30, 40, 50% at scale, the ones that are actually able to profitably spend and get more out of it, they don't have some magical lead system that just gets them like these unicorn layover leads. The main difference is going to come with what happens between the time that a lead comes in and the time that they're actually sending out their sales rep to that appointment. And that's the qualification process. And if you don't have one, if you have a bad one, you're leaving a ton of money on the table. Now, here's what a proper qualification process looks like, and that's what I want to break down in this video. We call it the 3-step qualification process. It's going to consist of proper speed to lead, expert qualification and pre-selling, and lead scoring. I'll break down each 3 and how they work and how you can get better lead quality for your roofing company. Now, step 1 is speed to lead, and this is where honestly most roofers lose before they even start. According to a study by MIT, you're 21 times more likely to have a sales conversation with a lead if you reach them within 5 minutes versus just if you wait 30 minutes. So when a roofer tells me, Ali, my lead sources are bad, the leads are crap, my first question is always, when did you call them? Because if a lead came in on Tuesday morning and you spoke to them on Wednesday afternoon, which is basically 30 hours after the fact that they reached out, that's why they're cold. That person was hot yesterday morning. They wanted to get something done with their roof. Now they're probably talking to 5 other competitors and you basically lost the war. So speed to lead is not an option. If you don't have a system, you need one, whether it's an answering service, whether it's having an AI, whether it's having just an office manager. You need somebody to be able to call the leads ASAP. And even for our biggest clients, the ones that are already doing multi-7 or 8 figures, it's going to be pretty hard for a lot of companies to just have 3 people that are there full-time to be able to answer calls 7 days a week, basically all day. What we do for our clients is we give them access to our own in-house roofing sales team, a US-based call center, by the way, who can call the leads on their behalf Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so that we can get to them in time and qualify them on their behalf without them needing to hire the people to do that. Now, step 2 is going to be expert qualification and pre-selling by trained roofing sales experts. That's going to be the biggest thing. Most roofing companies that I speak with, when the lead comes in, the person who's picking up that phone, no offense to your team, but usually it's what we call somewhat of a note-taker. That person doesn't know how to actually sell over the phone. They don't know how to build value with that homeowner. They don't know how to sift through them and make sure that we're only sending our reps out to the best type of homeowners. They don't know how to pre-sell that homeowner on why your company is different to your competitors. They don't know how to warm them up. Expectations usually are not set properly. So your sales rep might be showing up to an appointment with somebody who's completely cold, somebody who doesn't expect the whole sales process. Or even worse, some companies that I speak with, the leads that they're getting or the lead companies that they're working with don't even have a phone call. They're just basically sending contact information. It's like an SMS or an email or something. And that's what makes it so when your reps show up, they're talking to people who are completely cold, people who don't know what the appointment's about, people who view you as just another roofer. They're just getting another quote. It's the same problem that I described earlier. And this might have worked 10, 15 years ago when people were less educated, people had less information. But nowadays, people can get a quote online in like 15 seconds. So if you can't give them information and you can't show why you're different, you can't qualify that lead before the appointment actually happens, again, you've lost before the wars even began. What you need is expert qualification reps, people who know, deductibles, they know insurance, they know how to qualify that homeowner on homeowner status, making sure that person is the decision maker or, everybody will be present, right? Husband and wife, mom, whoever needs to be there is going to be present. Insurance situation, retail, is it a cash deal? Is it an insurance deal? Timeline, is this a 30-day thing? Is this a 1 year thing where we're just getting prices? In which case you should probably not book that person ASAP because you're probably not going to close them. And like I said, they're actually pre-selling that homeowner. They're building value. They're showing why your company is different to other roofers in the area. It doesn't really matter where you are. If you're in a city that has more than like 100,000 people, you have competitors. If you can't show homeowners why you're different and why you're better quality, you have XYZ that makes you different, your craftsmanship, your reviews, your warranties, whatever it is. If you can't build that value with them, you're no different than anybody else. And there's no reason why that homeowner would be, more likely to close with you as opposed to anybody else. You need to do this over the phone. This is what our reps do, by the way. This is the kind of criteria that we have in place. And this is what every company should have in place. Area, project scope, damage, age of roof, timeline, type of roof, size of home, insurance situation, budget, if it's a retail job, address, notes, obviously time for the appointment, homeowner status, decision-making. We're getting so much information and we're giving, obviously, like our clients' reps this information. In your case, you could give your reps this information. It's so bulletproof that there's no way you show up to that appointment not ready to close the deal. And so this step is arguably the most important one. Now, the final step, the third step, and this is the one that actually makes things compound over time. It's what takes you, like I said earlier, from a system where you've got inconsistency, you get a good lead here, 5 bad leads there, to an actual consistent machine that delivers qualified appointments time and time again. It's what we call lead scoring. Essentially, it's called pixel conditioning. That's the more like technical term. Obviously, you guys are roofers, you're not marketers. But to kind of simplify it, when a lead comes in, let's say through your advertising platform, let's say that's Meta, which is what we specialize in, by the way. There's what's called a metapixel. A metapixel essentially reads everybody who comes in. So let's say somebody clicks on your ad, they put in their information, they convert. Facebook is going to view that as a conversion. Your pixel is going to view that as a conversion. Okay, somebody converted on our ad. Now, the problem is most marketers, most roofers, whatever system that they have in place, and this can be with Facebook, this is with all major platforms, by the way, they count all of the leads that they get as conversions. The massive problem with that is advertising platforms are basically feedback loops. They look at what they've generated so far to determine what they're going to go after next. So let's say you got 10 leads, and let's say half of them were tire kickers and they were garbage because you don't have the right systems in place, or maybe your ads are bad or whatever it is. You're basically telling Facebook, get me more leads like that, because you're not really telling Facebook who to go after and who to not go after. It's just going to keep perpetuating that same cycle. And Facebook or whatever platform that you use will always try to get you the cheapest leads possible. So you're going to be in this basically negative feedback loop where you're going after the wrong people. What we do is we cut this at the root in our qualification process. After our US-based call center is done qualifying your leads, going through that whole process and having that whole conversation with them, we only send the right data right back to the advertising platform. We only send the qualified leads to the advertising platform as a high score lead. Whereas somebody, on the other side, somebody who's unqualified, maybe they just didn't have, the signals. Maybe they were really price driven. They had low income. We're sending that back as a low intent lead. We're telling the platform, good effort, but let's not show our ads to people like that. And so whatever platform that you're using right now, you need a system to be able to accurately score the leads that you get and have a feedback loop, have communication with the platform. Otherwise, you're going in blind and you're just going to keep perpetuating worse and worse leads over time. And by the way, when you have this dialed in, this is what makes systems actually scalable. Because, by week 1, you're just optimizing, you're getting leads. But by month 2, by month 3, Facebook or whatever platform you're using has so much feedback and has so much data that the only thing they can do is get you qualified leads, because you've given them so many data points to look at who converts and who doesn't convert. But it's only by having a system like this that we're able to do this. And, that's how our clients are able to do, like I said, like 500, 600 appointments per month at scale while maintaining solid, 30 to even 50% closing rates. So to recap, if you're a roofer and you're frustrated with your lead quality, and I know that a lot of you are, here are the 3 things that you need to fix. So first thing, you need to have amazing speed to lead. You need to get within your leads within, like I said, 2 to 5 minutes at most, and actually get to that lead as soon as possible. Second thing, expert qualification and pre-selling done by trained roofing sales experts. Like we said earlier, not note takers, not people who know how to put information in the CRM, but people who know deductibles, know insurance, know how to pre-sell the homeowner, know how to build value, know how to qualify the homeowner to make sure you're never wasting your sales rep's time on appointments that aren't worth it. And the final thing, lead scoring, so that you're only sending the right feedback back to your advertising platforms to have a scalable machine that only reads the right data and gets you more and more leads, better and better results over time. And having a system like this 3-step qualification process, is what's going to separate roofers who are always complaining about lead quality versus the ones that are scaling and that are closing consistently like our clients are. Now, to be clear, if you just want a system like this implemented in your business, you don't want to have to hire 3 more people to manage your call center or anything like that, I put a link down below in the description. You can click on it, book a call with one of the members on my team, and we'll show you exactly how this will look in your business, your market, your team, your goals. And if there's a good fit, we'll see if we can work together. Other than that, I appreciate you for watching. I'll keep dropping more content to help more roofers, and God bless you.